Hello and welcome to the anticipated games of April 2018.
We could be on History
host.
Channel.
Huh?
We could honestly be on History Channel with that because, the only thing you were missing was the aliens part.
Where aliens come down to Earth.
Better. I like it.
And the only way to stop them is by getting the best game of the month.
That was beautiful.
Who am I with?
Mike.
I'm Nick.
And I am Travis.
Do that voice the whole time. You won't.
I will. So, today I will bring you the game of extinction. It's like a game of, killing the Titans, where you kill really big shit. And you're a badass. Yep, that's all I got, because I do research.
Okay, well, jeez, okay, well, anyway. No, I mean, if anything, I know Mike is really excited about this month, going, as an overall, kind of like an introduction. I am semi-excited just because there's one thing that I really do want to talk about, which is probably really obvious when it comes down to it, but for the most part, I think, Mike, you have a lot more excited, anticipated releases than we do on this, right?
Yeah, well, because I think this month is more... Well, the games, first of all, I know are games that you're not into, but there are, a lot of big releases for some major series, like God of War, Yakuza, and then there's a couple of other, interesting Japanese games coming out. There's Pillars of Eternity, which is, an homage to, old-school RPG games. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. I think it's just stuff that doesn't usually fall in our wheelhouse of the games we play.
Yeah, I think it's very specific. I think the platforms are also what... Because, I don't really play a lot of PC games, and as I'm going through here, a lot of these things are going for PC, if it sounds like a game that I would actually be playing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah,
There's
I know what
not much Nintendo.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, you'll be surprised, Travis. There's a big Nintendo thing coming up. But we're not going to get to that just yet. Go ahead, Mike. Start it. Go with a legit release. Come on, not just... Okay.
I'll start with my first one. And I'm going to talk about this one because I don't really play games like this as much, but I know it's super important for what it is, and that's Pillars of Eternity 2. Now, for those of you that have heard of the Pillars of Eternity series, the first game came out, and it was kind of strange the way that it was in development because it wasn't meant to be the type of game that it was. But the company started facing bankruptcy problems, and it had to use Kickstarter, and this is sort of the game that came out of it. It's sort of this old-school RPG style. And when I say old school, I mean really old school. This is the original Elder Scrolls, original Fallout, where you sort of have a top-down look at the screen, and the way the combat works is a lot more strategy-oriented. It's a lot of text-based gameplay where it's very story-focused and focused on dialogue and stuff like that. And even the graphics, as nice as the graphics are, they do pay homage to that sort of original style of RPGs that were back in the 90s and 80s on the PC. And so for stuff like that, it's really cool. And that's a game style that's been dead. I mean, we talk about games that, like platformers, for example, are an old school style that Nintendo's kept alive. But this is a style that I feel like doesn't even exist anymore. I never see games like this come out. So I think it's really cool that this company is focusing on this and sort of bringing it back a little bit. I know that it's not the most popular style anymore just because I feel like RPGs have advanced so much. But I just think the fact that this is out, it's something that people can play. It's a modern style one. I think it looks really cool. And from the looks of it, I would recommend it. I haven't played the original Pillars of Eternity. It's something that I've wanted to try just because I haven't played many games of this style, but the first one got good reviews, so I'm assuming the second one's going to be equally awesome as well.
So what you're describing to me, is it kind of like more of a Final Fantasy VI kind of look to a game? Is that what you're kind of saying? Because I know you said top down.
I mean, it's more think Diablo or RuneScape, kind of like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it's less JRPG, more like Elder Scrolls type style,
Okay, kind of like a transition between the two, or kind of a blend, if you would say so, right?
Right.
I don't know. Just the picture that I'm getting right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
Well, anyway, I guess I'll talk about this one really fast because I didn't think this game exists, but you know what? I'm going to be talking about a game called Adventure Time: Pirates of the... I don't know how to pronounce the last word, so I'm not even going to try. But it's an Adventure Time game, and the real reason why this is an anticipated release for me is actually because of the fact that one of the games that we actually finished all the way through on this channel was SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. and it seems like one of the things that they're trying to do with this Adventure Time game, I know they made one before, but they're trying to do a similar thing that they did for SpongeBob, where in my mind, one of the biggest things that I loved about that game was you watch the TV show growing up the whole time, and then you have a game where you literally get to explore the world. That, to me, especially as a kid, blew my mind. And if Adventure Time can do the exact same thing in this game, I think that would be a really cool experience to bring to people who are of a younger audience. But this isn't the first Adventure Time game that they actually made. I'm pretty sure they made a couple of them. Like, one of the iffy things about it is I've seen no gameplay, no trailers whatsoever. I've only seen screenshots. So immediately to me, I'm like, I'm not sure they can really get away with that right now, but oh well. But it is a 3D kind of game. I don't know what the purpose of it or anything is, but I really want to see how it does and how it gets rated. I think the one before it, I'm looking at Adventure Time Finn and Jake Investigations. It's always kind of risky when a TV show kind of moves to an actual console platform, but it's always interesting to see how it does. And so this game is being released for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. Ooh. So, no big releases for the Switch, Travis, in April? Pff, come on.
I said there were not that many.
Which is pretty fair. But I mean, it's just one of those things where I like seeing those kinds of games that are at least going to make that attempt. It might fall flat for people who don't watch the show and might not get as much of a following that way. But I always like to see games that try to give you that experience, because I thought it was so cool when it happened with me. So I'm hoping that it'll do the same for maybe a kid who's like growing up and starting to play their games on the PS4 or Xbox One or something like that. Yeah. I think it'll be a cool idea. Mm-hmm.
And Adventure Time's kind of a cool one too, because I feel like that's a cartoon that kind of bridges that gap between kids and adults. So I feel like it's the kind of game that we can enjoy as well as kids, you know? It's not like just some baby cartoon. I feel like it's the kind of cartoon that a lot of people can enjoy. And the one that came out before it was more of a dungeon crawler. I forgot what system. I think Xbox 360. I don't think it was Xbox One yet. So yeah, like you said,
it was for PS3 as well. So I could see it for being for Xbox 360.
Okay, yeah, but that one was more of like a dungeon crawler. I don't know about the investigation one. I've never seen that one before, but I feel like the open world style will be interesting with something like this. But hopefully, it turns out good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously we don't know a ton about the series, but hey, anticipated release for sure. I would love to see how it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Exploring the world is always very fun.
Yes, it is.
Being in the South Park world is one of my favorite things of the game.
That's one of the reasons why Travis loves Stick of Truth.
Yep.
It really is. Especially now that I've finished the entire show.
He always says that. We're gonna have to make sure to catch him and plan a recording session right before an episode airs, just so we can have in the recording that he has not seen every episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Challenge accepted.
Well, anyway, Mike, what else do you have?
While being on the air.
Damn.
Because this is coming to live in New York.
Jesus, Travis.
I know. Okay, my next video game recommendation is one that we've kind of already talked about quite a bit, and that is the Nintendo Labo, where me and Nick will also talk about, because there's just not that many games we actually know. So the Nintendo Labo, there is cardboard, there's construction, and then there's some mini games that look actually kind of cool. I do gotta
admit, the dedication that you have to this voice, Travis, is pretty good. Keep going with the Labo stuff, though.
You have challenged me, so I will make this Labo sound epic. So there is construction of everything. It could take 15 minutes to several hours. Will kids really have the time commitment? I do not know. I'm still debating if I truly want to get it myself, but it does intrigue me quite a bit. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Well, either way, the variety kit and the robot kit are the things that I'm seeing, and they're two different things. So I feel like if you're talking about like the shorter end of the assembly would be on the robot side, and the variety kit might be kind of short to long depending on what it would be. I know the whole set for the robot kit might take a longer time, but overall, I definitely am interested to see how it does. Definitely, I don't think I'm going to be getting it, but one thing that I'm not sure if Nintendo purposely thought of it like this, but I think it was smart of them that they actually had a way to... So if you remember the rhythm games and how many like boxes of just plastic instruments that would just like cover up game stores and whatnot, with Labo, I like the fact that it's just like a sheet of cardboard. Like, it's not going to be taking up that much space, and I think that's really smart of them to be doing that. We've talked more about the Labo in a former kind of thing, so we'll keep it short here. But I do think it's very interesting to see how it does, because, hey, I mean, this is going to be one of their big things to expand their market from having kind of like the young adult audience to the actual kids that be playing these games. Because this is basically a reach out for them saying, hey, you guys should buy this product too. We want you to buy it. So here, now you have a big reason to do so. Also, it's coming out on 420. Haha.
Party hard, if you know what I mean. Be safe, kids.
Basically. I mean, we talked about it before. We know where we stand on most of it. But either way, yeah. It's going to be an interesting one. What do you think about it, Mike?
One thing I did want to say, and because I don't know the answer, and you might know this, Nick or Travis, I don't know. With the cardboard, when you build it and you're done playing, are you supposed to deconstruct it?
I don't know for sure, but the fact that I'm almost guarantee the fact that it's easily collapsible, if anything. Because
I was gonna say one of the problems I was thinking is like the room that it would all take up.
Yeah.
Like I feel like with all the different gadgets, that'd be a lot of space. But I guess if you could condense it, it would work well. That's just one of the things I wanted to mention on our podcast that I never mentioned.
Yeah, when it's assembled, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm not sure. Yeah, especially I feel like if you get a lot of those things, it'd be hard to find like space for it. But let's face it, I know like when you go to like at least in my in the basement where I have like a whole bunch of the games that I have, like there is like empty space if you want to store like a cardboard box or something like that. Like if you want to play robot, I don't know. I am with you on that because I mean, especially in like maybe it wouldn't work well if you're like in a limited space, but as long as you have a little extra room, I don't think it should be an issue. But yeah, that is a concern that people should have. Most of the stuff, it doesn't seem like a large piece of equipment, though. I think mainly like the robot set is the one that you have to be really concerned about.
Yeah, well, because I was thinking about buying the robot one, but then I'm like, I don't know if I have room in my house for that. So I'm like, maybe I might have to pass on that. But we'll see.
Yes, we will see. I am also intrigued about the robot one because that is more focused on the game instead of the actual construction of the thing.
That's true.
So I am curious to see how big of a game it is compared to the variety pack.
Yeah, the robot pack should hopefully be better gameplay-wise, but we'll see. We'll see how they turn out.
We will see.
I just don't want more shovelware.
That's fair. Not many people want shovelware.
Okay, so I'll go to my next one. I might talk about two here. Actually, I will talk about two here because one of them I don't know very well, kind of like Pillars of Eternity, and that's Yakuza 6. This game is the 7th Yakuza game to come out, and I feel like they've had so many come out in the past like 2 years, but this one does look really, really good. This one's kind of cool because I feel like it's taking a different look at the story. The main character in the game was locked away in prison for a few years, and this journey, instead of him just doing like horrible mob stuff, it's kind of focused on, you know, him trying to figure out what happens in the past because someone, I forgot who, someone related to him was in a hit or an accident while he was in prison, and there was a bunch of problems that happened, and he sort of has to like go back and piece everything together. So it's kind of a different look on the whole Yakuza story, and I think it looks very interesting. The gameplay, and it's always fun. The graphics are beautiful. It's always sort of an open world fun adventure. I've only played one Yakuza game, but I would recommend them because they're very interesting and they're different than like a lot of other games. I feel like they have a good story. It's kind of like a Grand Theft Auto in Japan, I guess is a way you can sort of word it. So I would recommend it, and this new one looks like it'll be really good. So I feel like it'd be a good one to jump into the series with.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah?
Hey, Mike, do you think a blue hedgehog is going to appear in that game?
I hope so.
Okay, good. Because then I'd go all the way after that. Travis, if you don't know, Sega made Yakuza. So
that is really cool.
There has to be some Easter egg somewhere in one of those games.
Oh yeah, there has to be. But anyway, sorry. What was your other one?
Well, the second game is one that I'm a little more likened to, and that's God of War. This one seems super cool because it's sort of like a distant sequel to the other games where Kratos is now a father. He has his child, a companion, and all that stuff. And it's less about his tale of slaughtering the gods like all the other games have been about. And this one's more about him trying to raise his son. And his son has this disease that he's trying to cure and figure out. And it's more of an emotional adventure than the past games have been. And I think that's super cool because it's, again, kind of like what I said about Yakuza, it's kind of a different look on the series, you know? It focuses more on the story and less on the gameplay, but the gameplay still looks awesome. You know, there's plenty of parts where it's just you kind of roaming with your son. So it feels like a bonding experience where you learn to, like, love the characters in it. Because in the other God of War games, as good as they were, I didn't really care much for the characters. I didn't really feel like a bonding connection outside of a couple of them. But I feel like this game's different. This game feels like it's really going to focus in on that impact. And again, like I said, the gameplay looks awesome. You know, this is a beat-em-up style game. and I feel like that hasn't changed. The bosses that they've shown so far are still huge. They're still incredible. I still feel like there's going to be like fun quick time events where you like slaughter 1,000-foot snakes and flying creatures and stuff. So it holds true to that God of War gameplay and combat, while adding what seems like it's going to be a very in-depth story. And so this one also seems like it'll be a lot of fun. So for God of War fans, I would highly, highly recommend this game as well.
Cool.
And I think,
sounds like an interesting one.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. The other game I was going to talk about was Extinction. I know Travis kind of talked about it. It's kind of an Attack on Titan ripoff more than anything, with like the 3D maneuver gear and stuff. That one will be interesting because I feel like people are conflicted on it. Some people say, oh, it looks so boring, I'm going to get bored of this in 30 minutes. And other people say like, oh, this game looks like it's going to be so innovative and fun. So that's another one I'm curious to see how it turns out, because that could be like a 9 out of 10 game or a 5 out of 10 game. You know, who knows?
Hopefully an in-between for somewhere there. Well, hopefully it would be a 9 out of 10, but I'm guessing most realistically it'd be probably around somewhere in between.
Probably. That's usually how it goes.
All right. Well, I'm good if you guys are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've covered everything.
Thank you for joining us. Let us know in the comments below if there are any games that we missed that you are interested in. And please leave a like button if you liked it, and subscribe if you have not already.
Bye.
He won the challenge.